You're almost ready.
I'm mailing them in.
Oh, come.
It's very slow.
That's over there on the napkin is the same thing as the plate. Plate's the same thing as the napkin.
Am I the last one?
Huh?
Am I the last one? Can I squeeze
Yeah,
it?
it's okay. Just go for it. You got 90 seconds.
Break it?
I did break it. Yeah, so I'm wearing this for the rest of the term.
Ooh, that is super fun.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's, last time I had a little cast, it was a huge hospital.
You got the wobbly one.
I did.
But I hear someone gave you their number on your cast?
No, I drank sorority girl on the train, wrote her name, and then poorly wrote her number, and then wrote her number right here.
That's awesome.
Just to make sure you had
I'm
it.
prompted. I'm
Yes.
prompted. Like, she said, "Can I sign like your cast?" I gave her a pen, and she just winked. Creative fun.
Silver lining to every cloud, right?
Yeah. Good to know that I can get it with a 19-year-old if I really want to.
Want to use the cast?
Yeah, I can pity date. Fair enough.
Here. In the middle of the room. Is that
Great.
okay?
Yep.
It turns over me though, it shouldn't. It's opening.
No, I didn't put out too many of them. I just sent it.
Okay, so it's gonna be.
Yeah. You ready?
Oh, it's the second.
I'm just wondering, are there going to be any other documents we're all going to be looking at during this meeting? Other
Don't
than the
have it.
agenda?
Well, I guess-
Okay. Well, if anyone comes up with one, just send it to me so I can
Yeah.
put it up on the live stream.
Okay, so I'll call the meeting to order at 6:36 p.m. We'll move through the early part of the agenda, then we'll skip to Ashley, who's our new marketing communications person, and she has to leave by 7, so we might get her out here a little bit early. So call the audience. I don't see any audience members. I guess Megan and Claudia are technically audience members. Anything to
No,
share
they're
or
actually part of the
say?
EB.
Yeah? No?
Yeah, as the program coordinator.
Oh.
Collectively.
The ominous program
Yes.
coordinator.
That works.
Oh,
You're great.
the body of program coordinator.
Right.
Made up of two bodies, okay.
Okay.
Approval of the agenda, is there anything to add to this? This is all I received. Daniel, you sent me something, so thanks. Jim, these are a couple things from before. We didn't get to our reports, so we can certainly go through it this time. Anything new? I'll take friendly amendments as we go through, or friendly sort of suggestions to put something on as we go through. Okay. Approval of the minutes from 6:22, 16, 5, 16, 8, 9, 16, 8, 25, 16. Rhea,
Have we received any of these?
did you send out one of these? Board.
I sent out the last meetings,
From the 25th? Okay.
but,
Yeah, have some concerns about this, or you want to table it, give her a chance to,
The one
make some corrections?
Yeah.
for the 25th?
Mhm.
So do we want to table approve the minutes? Okay.
Yep.
So a week from today, we'll meet again, so hopefully we can, at that point, approve all these minutes we've been tabling. So, okay. Move on to old business, and this is where I'll skip and ask Ashley to introduce herself. I don't know, whatever, maybe where you're from, what's the program you're studying in, and some of your background, and what do you look forward to in the position?
Ashley Michaelonis. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I just got out to Tucson a couple weeks ago, like midway through August. I'm a graduate student at the School of Journalism.
What about your Twitter stuff and athletics at the other school?
Oh yeah, so in undergrad I had a 2-year internship with our athletic department. So I tried to manage our social media sites, so our athletic page, our Twitter for our department, and then sometimes the Instagram, and then also I work with Facebook. But that's
Yeah.
I work with social media.
Cool. So the basic idea, right, is we have our administrators come by once or twice a semester, including the GAs and so forth, and say hi. A lot of us know them, but in case we don't, it's nice to meet them. I think you've met a few people anyway already. And then we can have a chance to ask the person about their job, what they're doing, and so forth. You know, you just started, so there's probably not much to ask, but anyway. Any questions for Ashley?
I have a question.
Yes.
Will Ashley be doing the newsletter as well, or is that not
Yeah.
decided? Okay.
Yeah. So,
I just haven't been introduced to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I
Okay.
just,
But that is in the works.
so you guys know each other, right? You met already?
I don't
Or
think
Megan?
so.
Oh, this is the first time. Okay, so probably Megan's a good person to start with.
Okay.
Are you going to take over that with, not going to take over, but you're going to help coordinate that?
I can help for the time
For
until
the
we get a
time
new
being,
admin.
like 2 weeks or 3 weeks
Yeah,
or whatever, okay.
yeah, and ASUA just got like a MailChimp sort of
Oh.
thing that
Chimpit?
will be helpful for GPSC to like track how many people actually open the newsletter and how many people actually click on links and stuff
What
like
is it
that.
now?
It's called Send in Blue. It's like MailChimp. It does the same stuff except it's cheaper. So
Ashley, you have anything you're looking forward to in terms of your job? Or anything that you want us to need from us right now?
No, if like you guys need anything, just reach out. And I think this will help me get to know like the area a little bit better and the university. So I'm excited about that.
I don't know if you met all of us, maybe we should introduce ourselves to you. Right. So Maria, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Maria. I'm the secretary, and I'm third-year PhD student in LRC, language, reading, culture, and writing, second language acquisition, teaching. Just me.
Cool. Zach, you've met me before.
Jim, Collins, treasurer.
Daniel Kesper, I'm the assembly chair, 4th year PhD in the literature department.
Megan Frecky, I'm assistant director for services. So I work at ASUA on a full-time staff basis.
Jasmine Sears, I emailed you,
Mhm.
but I'm also the administrative vice president, and I'm in optical sciences.
Claudia Davila, Assistant Director for Programs in ASUA and TPSC.
I'm Marquez Johnson. I've been emailing you to get advertisements out and so forth. I'm the social chair, and it's in my second year, thesis year for the School of Dance.
It's nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. All right, so we'll go back to old business. Budget update I've left is on there, Jim. Is there anything you want to talk about tonight, or do you want to wait till tomorrow night?
Well, I'll wait till tomorrow. I asked Estella for updates. I have nothing. Now, when I met with Cindy, she pulled up reports like the ones I asked Estella for. She just pulled them up just like that. So I think it's pretty quick to get these reports. I mean, I'm just asking for like.
When did you follow up with Estella? When was an email sent to her?
Well, I talked to her Friday and
You emailed it today, didn't you?
Okay, she's been in and out of meetings all day today, and she has not been in front of her computer because we've been hiring a new admin. So
Oh.
she's been working on that. But if you send her an email tonight, we can follow up with her tomorrow.
And say you need it by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a, I mentioned this to you over the phone. guess maybe I'll send her a follow-up email. Is, you know, pretty much for every meeting, it'd be nice just to get an update on what we spent since the last week.
We still encourage you though to follow up with her because we do the
Sure.
same things for our ASUA treasurer. He follows up with her, just because we get bogged down in getting anything else. So if you need that information, just giving us a quick little, hey, can you send it to us? Will be a helpful reminder.
And Jim, can you send out an updated budget sheet before tomorrow's meeting? That way everyone has the chance to look it over.
Yeah, I don't think we actually have. Well, actually, there's one update.
There are 2 updates, I believe.
What are the 2 you're thinking of?
So, Club and POD admin, Chris should have, I mean, during the meeting, Chris told you what the actual allocations were, but that needs to be updated on the actual spreadsheet. So we're all working with the same numbers. And then also just the fact that half the president's stipend is not going to get paid out, and so that should probably be updated as well.
No, it's not.
Well, you can prorate it, you're the treasurer.
40% or whatever.
The other thing I was going to add on was a category called special projects. We'll put no Chomsky under there, and then have something. We'll have a place on the budget for there's other things we might want to do like that.
Okay.
So I will send that out hopefully tonight.
Sweet, Jim, anything else you want to, or you want to leave the rest out tomorrow night?
Yeah, I don't have anything
Okay.
else until I get the updates from the school.
Okay, cool. So next item, we have repositories. So Wei Ren is not coming tonight. Have you talked to Wei Ren?
No, we're still waiting for him to
Okay.
know when he wants to get together.
So I'll leave these things on for next week in case you need them. Probably next week or in a couple weeks, it won't be a budget update anymore, at least this much maybe once we pass it.
Yeah, so as far as, what do you guys want to do as far as keeping track of, like, how often does everybody want reports on? Like, I just assumed every meeting I could throw up a spreadsheet and say, well, this is what we spent in each account since the last meeting. Is that useful, or is that something that's overkill? Or?
I think the first meeting of the month, I don't think any other meetings, but
Yeah.
monthly, so hey.
You're required to do it once a month, so we can just
Yeah.
stick with that.
All right.
And I'll just make sure to put it on the agenda.
Cool. So next item, Supreme Court meeting with Justice. Daniel, you want to
Yeah.
walk us through what you've done?
Yeah, so we haven't done much yet, but I did meet with the Supreme Court, Supreme Justice of the, whatever, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, nice guy, and they're willing to integrate into our stuff if we're willing to start using them. Basically, we would just follow up on what they do now for the ASUA stuff, which is mainly electoral stuff, mainly electoral questions and so on. They're also going to start doing advising opinions so that we don't need necessarily to go through the full court case. What we can do is say, here's the situation, here are the documents, and the Supreme Court can, at its prerogative, decide whether or not it wants to involve itself and give a amicus brief essentially of what's going on. And I think we ought to take them up on it. I just said it wasn't going to happen before the special election at all, so we just need to get that out of the way before we really start doing it. What we have to do is alter our elections code at minimum, and we also need to integrate them into the Constitution in some manner, if only to say that the Supreme Court of the GPSC is the Supreme Court here.
So the goal is to get it done by like December, January.
I think, yeah, before the next election,
Yeah.
before the general election is the idea. The two things we have to keep in mind is that, one, we have to pay these people. So there's a stipend that we have to pay to the justices.
How much is it?
I don't know, but because right now the full stipend is paid by ASUA, and they may say, okay, you don't have to pay the full, we split it between us or something. We have to negotiate what that actually looks like. And then the second thing is they stop taking cases 3 weeks before the law school starts their finals of the year, and that's earlier than most everybody else does. So it's like the second week in April. They don't take anymore.
So we could move the election
So
forward.
so if we do go ahead and go for this, we have to tie our election to whenever that deadline is, so that we don't miss the opportunity to file stuff. And so that's just how that works.
Cool. So Jim, Jasmine, anyone have any comments? is that your?
That's basically it.
Jasmine?
So it sounds like the ideal thing to do here would be for the governing docs committee to draft some amendments for this and then present that to the general council, since I know that there's been some complaints in the past of bringing up topics without actually having the language
Mhm.
already set. So Maria, when do you think you guys can get that done by?
Jim, what
Next
is?
meeting? Not tomorrow.
No.
Yeah.
Next meeting?
I don't know.
I would say-
I would say like the last meeting in October would be fine. Like we're having to do all the way through the election
Yeah.
anyway.
Might
That
be
sounds
the 25th or
good.
something.
Something like that.
I think we have a meeting then.
Okay, so second meeting in October sounds like the tentative deadline?
Yeah.
Okay, and that should give us time to discuss it and then
And
have it
also, like, see-
ratified
I mean,
before
like,
December.
Talk to it, see how much the money's gonna cost.
Yeah.
I can continue to follow up on that stuff.
Awesome.
Any other comments for Daniel?
Oh, the other thing is, the law school is starting to put together a pool of student lawyers who are willing to help with that kind of thing. So if we want to hire somebody on an hourly basis to be like, here's, because what the Chief Justice said is the main issue that always comes up is that people who aren't experts in law use terms that they don't really understand, and then the Chief Justice, and if you're going to use what the legal definition actually means. So evidence has a specific legal meaning, you're going to go with the legal one. And so I think it probably would be good when we do get some language, just to have someone who, even if it's just like Ellen or Storm, just to go over it and say, yes, this is what this means. No, this is wrong. You don't want to put it this way. So that's just a thing to throw out there.
Well, and Jim, go ahead.
Yeah, so two questions. Do we have any indication of how much we can use them? I mean,
They, not a lot. Basically, they shouldn't be running to them with frivolous sorts of things. The advisory opinions are only if at their discretion. So they may say there's not enough here for us to bother with. You go figure it out on your own. So largely, this will be the way in which we discussed it would be, instead of appeals to the e-board, what we do is we appeal things that the e-board decides to the Supreme Court, and it needs to be a definite process where they're the last step.
second question is, do we have a procedure defined, or do we still need to come up with a procedure?
There's basically what we have to do is figure out what we want to do to send it to them, and then their procedures take over full. And they have a whole set of rules that I don't know anything about, but once it's accepted, then it falls under their rules, which are really like straight, I think pretty standard. And then I asked, and they're basically given carte blanche at that point. At the point at which it gets to the Supreme Court makes the decision, whatever it is, then we're bound by it if we start doing this. So if they say this person's violated the elections code and is no longer the vice president, I asked that question, and that's what will happen. So something we have to keep in mind too.
Fabian?
All their rules are on their website, so
Yeah.
if you wanted to go to the AHWA Supreme Court website, it's all listed under important documents. So it has the rules of procedure, the rules of advisory questions, and anything regarding elections. So it's clear cut, what
Written
they're
by
doing.
lawyers, you know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, it's very clear. So.
Cool. Anyone else for Daniel? I mean, this is huge. Thanks for reaching out, Daniel.
Yeah.
To improve our process and move outside of our process, at important moments, and make it better, I think. I'm sure there's things we can't proceed. It would not be perfect, but I think it would be more perfect or less imperfect than what we have now. So, cool. Next item, I'm not sure Claudia or Megan want to talk on Chris's behalf about the 360 evaluations. No?
That's really a Chris
Okay, we'll
thing,
keep
yeah.
that for next time. Consent agenda, did he talk to you about that at all? No? Okay, we'll keep it for next time until Chris comes back. It'll be next week. So Daniel, you're up against special elections.
There's nothing specific that I really wanted to bring up, but I wanted to make sure that I understood what was going to happen. As far as I understand it, we're having a special election to fill in council seats, and that after you officially resign, we'll have another special election to fill the vice president seat because June wants to take your position.
So I think Jim has something to say about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, presumably we'll decide at the meeting tomorrow whether or not the Constitution Amendment from April gets passed. If it does, then
It might be different.
It won't
Yeah.
actually matter. You cannot change the duties of someone who's already been elected after they've taken office. So,
So,
Well,
this is the problem.
There's nothing that says that anywhere.
there is, it's actually in my and Jude's duties that we will take over in the event that the
No,
president resigns.
The idea that you can't change things until the next next term, set of office. So it sounds like you're saying, we can't change, if it does pass, it wouldn't apply to this situation.
Yes.
Yeah, and what's that based on?
Every reasonable way of how an elected position works. You can't hire someone for a position and change their job description after you've already signed the contract.
So, this is probably not a conversation.
We'll have it tomorrow night
right
too.
this second. But, right, so, is there any, like, I put this on here as an opportunity to be like, is everyone clear on what's going on so far?
So
Because I
when's the-
wanna know.
Can you run through the dates one more time?
Okay, so as it's the September, the packets are due noon on Wednesday. The election happens between the 19th and the 22nd next week on
19th, yeah.
19th and 22nd, which is Monday through Thursday. They're going to be electronic. I assume there's going to be voting in the office, though I don't know if anyone's actually going. Ostensibly that's happening, but I don't know if anyone's actually doing that.
I think it's online.
I don't.
What is?
Voting?
Do we have to do it? Do we have to have voting available in person? Like, I was under the impression that we did. I don't know.
Oh, so it's online still.
Okay.
It's
but
just people go with iPads out on the wall and are like,
Oh,
vote
okay.
here.
So do we? Are we doing that, or are we not doing that?
That's
kind of
up to
a
the program
Chris
coordinator and
Okay.
program coordinator
Right.
and yeah.
Okay.
There should be, I think there,
I think we just send it to the
Our-
library.
an elections director will be happening, hopefully.
Yeah, he
before
said he's gonna make
that.
an offer to someone. Did you guys?
Yes,
sit down together?
I met with her today.
Okay.
Yes.
So she's great.
The packets are due Wednesday, you said?
Wednesday at noon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Wednesday this week.
Right, in 2 days, which is why we can't vote for a new president for this election anyway. So regardless of what happens, we're going to have another special election in October because we can't, in good faith, vote for somebody whose job isn't available right now. So that's going to happen, whether it's the president we're voting for or the vice president we're voting for is something we have to talk about tomorrow.
Have we got many packets in yet?
We have gotten quite a number of packets for the council seats.
We've had packets picked up, and I know some number of signatures have been gained on every packet. I don't know how many have been turned in yet.
Okay, so we should spread that news as widely as possible to remind everyone it's due on Wednesday because we don't want highly qualified people missing the deadline by an hour or whatever. So awesome. And so tell your constituents, and then tomorrow I'm gonna make, when I send my agenda today, I'm gonna remind everybody to tell everybody for Wednesday.
So how do we get the word out about the election? Is it just for Facebook, just on Facebook? Or?
I'm gonna send an email out to everybody in the GPSC and then remind them to tell all of their constituents, and that's just how it's gonna go because we don't have.
Is it on the website?
It is. I think it is.
It's been on the website.
Yeah, it should be on the
Okay.
website. So it'll be. And so we've been.
Can we put it, if we have a newsletter go out, can we put it in the newsletter?
It's too late.
And we're not. Yeah, we won't have one before Wednesday. So. Let's see. Let me make sure.
We can't do like an emergency, like just newsletter?
Well, what I'm gonna do is.
Just like with the announcement or something?
I can-
Just the one announcement.
Yeah, can we
Um,
do like an emergency?
We could. I don't know how to do that because Alexi's not here, basically. So if
It's very, if you just wanna write an email, you can send it out.
all right, so I will write an email and send it out to the newsletter to everyone that gets the newsletter to remind them that it's happening.
So Megan will send it.
And I'll
Yeah,
have
we'll
Megan
figure
send
it
it for me. And
I think it's Wayron actually. I think
Okay.
if you probably send it to
Okay.
him and say, send it over to the GPSC listserv, you can
okay,
do that.
then I will have that. I
Who
will
does
do
the
that.
newsletter go to? When we have a subscription.
Who?
Graduate
He
students.
does that too.
The thousands of
Yeah.
names that
Yeah.
are on there.
Yeah, whoever
Actually,
it
I'm
is,
gonna
I
do
get
it.
2 of them because I foolishly put the other other email address on there. So yeah, so the fall elections, and I'll make sure to point to the website fall elections information's been up for a while, and it says Wednesday, September 14th at noon is when all the official petitions are due. They're going to be and they've been online since September the 6th.
And
So,
that's what you want me to post about?
yeah, I would just say nominating petitions are due Wednesday at noon.
And then link to the
And link
relevant
to-
part of the
and
website,
it's,
probably.
Yeah, link to the website. Do you need me to? I have the URL. I can
Are
show
you
it
talking
to
about the elections URL?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it up.
All right, cool. So just remind everybody, because there's still time, and tell them there's still time to get 10 signatures
Okay.
if they want to.
Yeah, maybe we should also specify where to turn the petition in
Yeah,
It says it on the petition.
website. Go
Right,
ahead.
in the-
It says it on the website. For your Facebook, can you just put the email address that you can send it to, which is gpscelections@email.arizona.edu, because all of them can be done electronically.
GPSC elections at.
Mhm.
And if you forget any of that, it's on the petition too. So at least the information is really easy to find.
Yeah.
And this time they don't have to write saying any blurbs, they just have to have the signature.
No, they have to turn in the petition, which the petition packet has certain requirements, and I don't know what those are exactly, but
Because that's when there was a confusion about, like, we used to do it and then we stopped and it was just.
let me just, actually, let me just look at the petition forms, 1 second.
I don't see anything requiring a blurb.
Okay.
It doesn't say anything about it on the website at all, just gives
Okay.
dates and where stuff gets turned in, so.
Well, I mean, as.
Yep.
Okay.
And so, all the petition seems to need is signatures and just personal information stuff. Alright, that's it.
Thanks, Daniel. So next item, I'll just moved up to the executive board reports, so social chair report.
Yeah. So this past Thursday we had our first social event of the year. We had 69 total that signed in. That was mostly new people that came in. I tried to make it a little easier for everybody that came during the international student social that we had and put their emails and so forth, so all they had to do is check in. We had 13 from this list that arrived, and the other 56 were new people that came from the advertisements and such. And I have them listed there, so I will make sure to have them added on that. Some good things that happened with it was that Jasmine brought the petitions, and we were able to gain some interested individuals to apply for the special election, so that was great. I was surprised that I had some College of Fine Arts reps that were there and a music person, so personally that was awesome for me. And then had Jasmine and Zach there as well, so that was great to have that representation. I went around and got some suggestions from people on what they would like to see for different events and such. Some things that they talked about were doing some hiking, more mixers, museum night, laser tag. Somebody brought up Sonoida, so I'm not quite sure how that would be, but it is fun. Trivia night and some other things. So just trying to get some ideas with that. Another good thing is that all the food was gone in 20 minutes, but that was also a bad thing, which leads me even more that grad students are very hungry, which is, a good thing. So I felt bad that those that came after that they didn't get any food, so I just went ahead and ordered some more for them.
What was the event this one?
Oh, the Gentleman's Social.
Just the gentleman's.
Yeah. So I went ahead and ordered some more food, and that was gone within 20 minutes of that arriving. So, but that was a good thing. There was nothing left. Yeah. And then recruitment for the special elections. The not so good things that occurred was that the other fraternity event that was there, just the sign-in was a little tricky. And I think some of them might have taken our food. I don't know. That might have contributed to it, but it was still good to have a good mix of people there. I don't think they took any of our materials and such. I was trying to get pictures and videos of our other events up on their screens, but the pictures weren't uploading. So I'll make sure to have a PowerPoint set up for the next one that we can put on there. And I said the not so good thing was that all the food was gone in 15 to 20 minutes. Moving forward, with other committee members, I wanted to ask you, Zach, if you had a listing of anybody that said they were interested in being a part of the social committee by chance, because I haven't received any notifications after sending out a little blast
Yeah, I
about
also
that.
asked Jasmine at this point. There were a few people.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
sent me
so-
a one, but she wasn't.
Yeah. Zach, you
Would be
actually
a part
never
of it.
passed those on to me. I found out that like Ellen asked you to be on social, but I had never heard about it and it wasn't on that spreadsheet. So if you could check through your emails to see who else said they were interested, I think that would save everyone a lot of work.
Yeah. And so with that, that'll help with some other events that I will need other people to take a part of, which I went ahead and did a listing of everything that is going to be needed before the event, items to take during the event and after, so that things can still run smoothly for that. Yes. I will I sent you the packet of the receipts and things in your box in the GPSE office, just so that you have that as well from the last time. And I believe that that is all that I have to report on that. But everybody enjoyed it. I might have to add another vegetarian option for a lot of other people. The cheese quesadillas were not enough. So, yeah, but everybody enjoyed.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So Marcus, in the future, things that you put in that box for me tend to disappear before I get to them.
Okay.
So if you could just make it to me.
Yep. Will do.
How much did it cost total?
The cost was under, because I went and bought
Yeah.
more, it was under 400. The original pricing, where is all of that?
That's a good enough ballpark.
Yeah, but it's including the
Okay.
tip and the tax, it was under 400 with the addition of the extra food.
And 70 people.
Is that right?
I'm sorry?
Under budget, that's right. On budget, under budget.
The original plan under budget, yeah, because I wanted to do 400 for each, but if I'm trying to do the 250, yeah, so it'll still work.
Okay.
It'll still work.
And then I guess just like a suggestion.
Yes.
For the future, I thought it was, so I know that previously Joy was doing like each table would get appetizers, and she was finding that that was really hard to share.
Mhm.
So the thing you did with like the one big table and all the appetizers are there, people have to go up to the table and then bring things back.
Yeah.
That looked like that worked way better. So I think the one suggestion I have at this point is it sounds like if you like time,
Yes.
so it's like, you know, at the start and then 30 minutes in and then an hour in, just so that people who show up late still have that chance.
Yes, and the food didn't come out on time either.
Ah.
So there was a little bit of delay, but as soon as they saw that, they just ran with
Yeah.
it. But yes, that is a thing I will make sure to have happen. Have one at the 5 o'clock hour, then another one at the 6 o'clock.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let me write that down as a reminder, though.
And Jude says, great job.
Thank you.
Anything else for requests? Well, thank you. Secretary's report. I guess you can type in your report too.
I wasn't in commission when I took this undertaking. So basically, I've been sending out minutes since I got back. Been looking at the governing docs previously, sent out amendments that one of them we're going to talk about tomorrow, even though they were previously on the agenda in April. What else? We previously were trying to do stuff with the elections code, like with a new version of it.
Yeah. And I don't think it's going to, it's not going to be used at the next meeting. Originally, we planned to try to get that solution quickly. It would be handy to have one of these lawyer guys.
I will check in on the actual how that works.
Yeah.
Sure.
We are coming up, we are running across some questions. where
Right.
If we can just ask them.
Yeah, we're also going to be probably hiring, I assume, Alma, as if she might have other input that would be probably helpful, because she's going to be the one running the thing. So, yeah, I will contact the Chief Justice and check on finding more.
So yeah, I think we would need to have some like a discussion of how amendments should be proposed. there, please correct it. So it should probably be the same way. We should do it in the future as well, because it's very hard to correct something that's, you don't know, like, what to correct and what way to correct, and and I mean it's easier to vote on corrections as well in that same sense. That would be all. That's all.
Okay, I've got a comment. So regarding traditionally how the minutes have been amended, I don't know how it worked before me. There wasn't really any content to the minutes, so at least for the guys specifically, immediately before me. So I imagine there weren't very many corrections to that, but at least when I was secretary, people really would just tell me, hey, you've got me saying 5,000, it was 50,000. And that was it. They didn't send me like a track changes version. And so I would go through and just, Control F for their name or Control F for like a $sign, and I would find it myself. And there were some people who would send me very detailed corrections. That was always nice, but I never forced someone to send me a track changes version in order to get their corrections implemented, and neither did Jill. So if we are going to switch to requiring track changes comments, then that would actually be something very new and not traditional at all.
Well, there's a difference between change 5,000 to 50,000. That doesn't require track changes or red lines or anything else, but expensive changes, yeah, you need to sort of say what you want to change.
And especially if it says, okay, I don't think this was said. I'm not sure what is said, but I don't think this is what it's mentioned. So please correct it. I don't know exactly.
Well, that's what the recordings are for, right?
Right. The other thing is, I always take the minutes during the meeting, and if someone wants to correct specific things, it's also, they can listen to the recording as well and look at I'm always glad to do something, but if you want something specifically changed and you want some specific wording that's not in the minutes, then it would be very good to propose that wording specifically, because even if I would go back and re-listen to the recording, which is not officially part of my requirements, but even if I could still accidentally mishear something or not hear something, because the recordings are not always, quality, or I could put something in the minutes that you don't want, and you could still say, this isn't correct, I want it differently. And every time I put something, someone could say, I want it differently, I want it differently, I want it differently, as opposed to if someone says, this is how I want it, then it can be up to voting, and we can make that change. It just makes it easier that way.
Yeah, so you actually made a really good argument for why discussion shouldn't be in the minutes, like Robert's Rules says. Discussion's not supposed to be in the minutes according to Robert's Rules. And this is an extra requirement that the General Counsel has decided on. And I think you just made a very eloquent argument for why we should probably go back on that. Because you're right, it's very easy to get bogged down in the details of a discussion. It's not fair to you if you have to go and listen to the recording to find out what was actually said. And then if you mishear it, then that's even worse, right? So why even force you to do all of that extra work when the only thing requiring you to do that is part of our governing docs, which you should probably try to change. I will say, though, that if someone says, hey, I know I didn't say this, and you say, no, you definitely did, it's on you to make sure that the minutes are correct, and so it's on you to go to the recording and say, look, here's the part of the recording where this was said. Like, if you wanna complain, then complain about your memory.
Well, that's reasonable, and that's why I'm taking the minutes during the meeting. And if there's something that someone wants to argue is differently, that's why I'm asking for specific corrections. And I think the point I wasn't arguing at all that we shouldn't have a discussion in the minutes. I don't know if that argument may be interpreted that way, but this is not what I was arguing at all. People voted to have detailed minutes. There was a reason for it last year, there was a reason for it this year. There are certain things that we mentioned that we don't think are important at the time, and they do become important. Not to mention, sometimes we don't reach a decision by the end of our discussion, and therefore, if we have that discussion in there, it's easier to go back later for someone to look, okay, this is what we previously discussed, and go back to that same point in the discussion and continue. There might be instances where we don't continue the discussion directly the next meeting if something gets, is not on the agenda or gets put in the agenda later on and never reach it. So for those purposes, discussions are very valuable.
So,
Okay, sure.
yeah, so I think our last review meeting, I had said, why don't we give Maria a little time to
Well, she's had 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Have you had enough time to digest?
Well, as
Yeah, so why don't we move on?
Okay, so Daniel, do you want to say something?
I was just gonna say we can move on.
Okay. Maria, anything else from your report?
no, that was all.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Treasurer's report?
Nothing new.
Okay, nothing new. We'll talk tomorrow night too. Assembly chair report?
Just that I met with the elections director. She seems great, and that I'll be sending out tomorrow's agenda in the next hour. So if anyone has anything to add, let us know.
That's for me.
And then Alma Hernandez, apparently her brother ran for ASU president a couple of years ago.
Well, he just won the Democratic primary for District 2.
All right. And she's been an active member or an active participant in Tucson electoral stuff for the last 8 years, which she said. And also she's super big into reaching out to marginalized groups. So I recommend getting Chris some select time. So that's basically it.
Cool. Any questions for Daniel about his report? Go
Okay,
ahead.
cross question. The Claudia, the election director, will be working under you again?
It's Chris.
Chris did say that he was expecting her to kind of watch the special election and get her foot in there and then take over fully after this one was coming out. Cool. That's it.
Cool. Thanks, Daniel. Administrative VP, Jasmine?
So I'm a little concerned about the research and project grants numbers of applications we're going to get, because I was hoping to have a reminder sent out the previous 2 weeks and tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Wednesday. But since we don't have a newsletter, we couldn't do that. So I don't know what this upcoming round is going to look like. But we also lost 2 of our research and project grants committee members over the summer, so maybe it's for the best if this is a small round, and then after special elections, we can fill those vacancies. I am pleased to say that the vast majority of colleges have had at least one person, or for vacancies, the vast majority of colleges with vacant rep spots have had at least one person grab a petition. I don't know how many of those are going to get turned in, but aggressive outreach, so
Good preliminary
hopefully
information, yeah.
all of them. That would give us, I think, only 3 colleges without reps at that point. If everyone turns in their petitions, that'd be awesome. Other fun things, working on getting people assigned to committees. Zach, if there's anything you can do to add to that spreadsheet that you sent to me, because what I've been finding as I'm emailing people is that they actually got put in committees that you didn't update the spreadsheet
Okay,
about.
I'll look.
So-
I thought it did with the saving function.
Yeah.
It's
No, it's
fine.
entirely
not-
possible you've got a local copy that you just need to send over or something. But so again, a lot of the vacancies will hopefully be filled after the special elections. What else? That might be it. I got to sit in on a little chat. It wasn't a real interview with one of the candidates for administrative assistant. And even if we wind up not going with her, that's just going to mean that the other person was better, which means that we got someone really solid, because the lady I got to talk to was amazing. So I'm looking forward to us filling that position. And I think that's it. And Jude says he'll give his report tomorrow.
Okay. Cool. So then, President's report. A few things I'm working on. So I worked with Stephanie on getting GPSC endowment. So we need to have $25,000 minimum to have an endowment, meaning at that point interest will kick in, and then you can use some of that money to put money back into GPSC. This is not a long-term thing, but I sent out an email to 225 of GPSC's 25-year alumni and said, please donate. I'm going to be donating $180 to get that started in a couple weeks. And hopefully we can get that to 25,000. This is like a long-term thing, being like let's say 10 years we get to $25,000, or 20 years we have $50,000, and that some of that money could come back into GPSC. And the long-term goals are to have GPSC sometimes less dependent on institutional funding, so then you get more of an independent voice if you have less money from the institution. That's sort of some of the ideas. But also, we just don't know the whims and the changes of any given legislature. They might just say, hey, we're going to cut your money, and then Dean of Students' money gets cut, and Student Affairs gets cut, and then they have to cut the money again to us. And so building an endowment is just a good long-term strategy for GPSC. So working on that, and through that I contacted the alumni. I reached out to some people about being on GPSC's advisory board. So a couple years ago, we had for about 3 or 4 months, we didn't have an advisor. And Keon Olive, this guy from a couple years ago, was the vice president. We started meeting people on campus, faculty members, to find one advisor. And then we met with one person, and we said, oh, this person's really good. And then the next person, like, they're really good too. And after a while, we realized everyone we met was really, really good. So instead of just having one advisor, we created an advisory board. And their function the last couple of years, most of the time it's really minimal. We meet with them once a semester to have like tea or coffee or snacks or something like that with 4 or 5 faculty members. These are usually tenure track faculty, and that's about it. But when we might have problems in the administration or on campus where it's nice to have a named Regents professor or something like that, it's good to have them on board. And it came from something exactly like that a couple years ago. We had some frustrations. I think this is before you, Jasmine. You came into it, I think, a year after about the pharmacy.
Right.
And so at the time, pharmacy, PharmD didn't have a representative form of government. And so at one point, someone went over our head and just tried to talk to figure out what it was at the time and say, those guys can't figure it out or anything like that. And so it was nice to have a faculty member who was an advisor to sort of step in and say, no, they're actually doing a pretty good job. It's just that that person from pharmacy at the time just assumed we were foolish. And so it's actually nice to have this group to kind of help in those kind of moments. So anyway, back to the advisory board, I've reached out to 4 people about serving on the advisory board. One person's already responded and said she would love to be on the group. She's an associate dean in College of Social Behavioral Sciences, and everyone I emailed was an associate dean level or higher. So I got the list from Andrew Carney, and this would be very much like a faculty type group as opposed to just dean of students. It's not opposed, it's just a very different sort of flavor of support to GPSC. So that's what I'm working on. All the main things I'm working on. Today, Jasmine and I and Brandon attended the Faculty Senate report. Faculty Senate, I just gave a 4-line report giving people an overview of our budget, the fact that I'm stepping down, our special elections, and our travel grants. I think that was the 4 points I put in there. So those are a few things, and I'll give a larger report tomorrow night, but those are a couple things I'm working on right now. Yes.
If you're looking for more ideas with the getting more interest with the endowment, I'll forward you Dory's email for the School of Dance, because that's practically all that we do, just trying to get money for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're pretty self-sufficient, so I'll forward you his email to pick his brain and get some ideas on how to generate that.
Cool. Well, if you want to pick his brain too, because just so you know, I've emailed him multiple times.
Oh, okay.
And he's never responded to me.
He's hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Kind of had to catch him in the halls.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe we could do a dance event for GPSC.
Yeah.
I mean, how many performances you want to do, but we could do different things like that to get to the endowment. And I've had a few alumni respond to me, like a president from 20 years ago and a president from 10 years ago. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to donate right away. And I told them they can donate as little as they want. So anyway.
Great.
Cool. Next item on the agenda is you, Marquez, Laudea, last call. So this is about some food stuff, right?
Yeah, I got an email from Eric St. Mark, who I worked with over the summer, and is an RA at Laudea, and he sent me an email asking for our assistance in trying to get more involved with the dining services about with Pangea specifically on different food items and such. I forwarded the email that he sent me, but I'll just go through some of the highlights with it just in case you didn't get a chance to read it. He said Pangea previously, as recently as this Tuesday, offered a $5 last call self-serve takeout box 10 minutes before they closed and presumably threw out the old food. However, they no longer offer the $5 last call and have raised takeout box price up to $9. This is unfortunate. As Pangea was the only full complete meal, 800 plus calories across 4 healthy food groups, available at a reasonable price on campus. Then the next paragraph, he went over some numbers on financial aid, estimating room and board at a little more than $11,000 for a standard room and a quadruple occupancy. quadruple occupancy consumes $7,500, leaving $4,300 for meals, $11.78 a day, or $3.93 per meal. So just those numbers are a little staggering with that. So I emailed him back and told him that I would bring this up to you all to get some ideas on different ways that we can reach out. Some of the things I plan on doing is talking to different reps at Pangea to ask if they are going to offer the $5 last call again, trying to get more specifically into the dining services department, more specifically with his question at the end, seeing if we can get into a meeting or something with other services reps and such.
So, yeah, I have a question after.
I just noticed that it wasn't just Pangea. I mean, I eat on campus a lot, and
Yeah.
I've noticed that, like, in general, the prices have really substantially gone up. Like,
Mhm.
even if you go to Cactus Grill, like, something that used to be offered for like, so compared to 2 years ago, it went up $2, like for sides, for just sides. So what used to cost $3, something now costs $5 something. What used to cost $6 now costs $8
Mhm.
something. So like the food prices for other places have gone up too. So I think it's like a general concern. You know, even if you have like, you know, a graduate assistantship or 2 graduate assistantships or, you know, whatever, it's still like, it still costs more than it used to, and you know, our salaries haven't gone up to cover that change in prices. You know, I spent like a lot, you know, I have to spend a lot more money on food now than I used to before. And I think like, you know, especially for some students who may not, you know, who may not have a graduate assistantship, you know, or students who are working like a $10 or whatever, minimum wage, $8 or whatever, like that, it might be just completely impossible, like to even like eat on campus.
Which is why all the food was gone that fast at the social hour.
Yeah. So I mean that's a general. I think that's a general concern, and you know we do this what's it called, where we offer like free food here. The
Food bank.
Yeah, food bank. Yeah, campus pantry. That was what.
Yeah.
But I mean, what if someone wants to, you know, eat something on campus? Like you can bring food, you know, from outside, but it's still like, what if you need to grab something? You're just starving. Like, what do you like? You have to pay that amount, and it's just really not fair. There's nothing available, discounted or anything. Like, you know, for me, Cactus Grill was like the cheapest option I could find, and even so, it has really gone up.
So, yeah, someone mentioned pantry. So tomorrow night, the person who runs the campus pantry is going to come to GPSC. And I talked to Michael Finnegan, the ASUA president, like 2 weeks ago. They're going to ask us for $1,000. ASUA said they would contribute $1,000 to pay the student workers who run the pantry. I went to the pantry. I don't know if you guys have been there. I hadn't been. It's a really nice place, and you can go in and get like 5 cans or 5 pieces. Do you know this, Daniel, better than I do? Like whatever it is per time. So it's something we can advertise more, because you know Maria's hitting on the issue of cost, but you know it's also a huge like food insecurity type issue. Go ahead, Daniel.
Well, it's just that the fact that we need a food pantry for graduate students on this campus is a major problem. Like this is a band-aid to an actual serious
Huge
issue
problem.
that has affected, like I've known my constituents have been affected by this really well. And so yes, one of the things is they don't know the food pantry is there, but another one of the things is like this university is literally starving us to death. So I'd like
Literally starting.
No, I'd like, you know.
I mean, if you want
push
to
back on
draft
some
a
of this,
statement, I would love to sign off on something.
Okay.
Like the 2 paragraphs like that. I was going to ask, when as Marquez is talking, Claudia or Megan, do you know, so Jason used to be the student union director. He's gone now. Is there an interim person?
It's Todd Millay.
Tom Millay? Okay.
So speaking of the current interim director of student unions, who I'm guessing is going to become the full director of student unions soon. Has there been a
There's
decision
a
yet?
search still going on.
Still going on?
Yes.
Okay, well, I feel a little better that I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
So I know myself and Jude showed up to student interviews with all 3 of the candidates for director of student unions. And what I remember from Todd's interview was everything's run as a business, and that is the best possible way to handle it. And of course, all prices are gonna go up, and everything's going to cost more because it costs a lot to run this type of union. And basically, it was very much a clinical, mathematical, business person approach to a really human problem. And so I think that something that's going to be really important is students talking to Todd directly, saying, look, like, the $5 last call was my main source of food, and yeah, I realize that, you think you can get more money out of students by increasing that, but realize that you're actually hurting the most at-risk students in your quest to get a few extra dollars out of a stone. And I think until we do something like that, I don't think any of this is going to change. I think it really is going to have to be just face-to-face conversations with this guy, with as many affected students as we can find, because of how dead set he was on insisting that everything needs to be run as a business and that profit is the end-all, be-all of running the student unions.
Yeah.
Kind of Jason's model a little bit too.
I'll ask him if he, because he mentioned that he was going to talk to other students at Lauderdale about it to get more specific statements, and I can have him or forward the name to him to relay that message over to him as well. So just to continue on with that suggestion there.
And then one other thing, our website actually has information about Campus Pantry and
Oh, it does?
the Tucson Community Food Bank as well.
Good.
So
Something
we
ask
actually,
Ashley to advertise too.
right, we have that information on our website under resources. Now we just need people to start clicking on the resources tab.
Good to know. Cool. So, Quez, anything else from you on this?
No, that was it. Got some good stuff here.
Okay. Next is UA football tickets. So,
Oh, I have one more thing.
go ahead.
Well, maybe this is one of the things related to the food. This is one of the things, if we do a poll in the future, would be something we could do a poll on, and that
A survey, yeah.
A survey, sorry, and that we could use it in order to promote,
Yeah.
promote the idea that we were talking about here. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. So the next item is UI football tickets. A little bit of background on this is a couple years ago. I learned that ASUA went to every football game, which is not a big deal per se, but it was like these sort of soft opportunities to get talk to the administration people and so forth. These sort of fun environments, which we were sort of cut out of. So it took me 3 years literally to get us tickets, and so my last day, my third year, my last time I was able to go to one football game. Like we got it the very last game of the year. This is then December 2014. So since then, I think we had some last year. This year I got an email in like July, so you guys interested in any tickets? And I said, well, these 2 dates maybe are cool, I don't know. And then I asked Daniel if he wanted to go last week. He said yes, and so I thought these were just tickets for just the one date, which was last weekend. And Daniel said, did you mean to give me season tickets? So it was 2 tickets, right, for each week?
Yeah, 2 tickets for
So there's tickets, 2 tickets for the rest of the season. On the 25th, I'll go, but the rest of them are sort of for EB. I don't know, you took someone from EB or was it GC?
I took someone from EG actually, but
Okay, so maybe executive board members
Yeah.
can use them, or we can just give them out. We did in the past have a discount program from athletics directly, so people would just purchase tickets less money. This is sort of a thing, so you went to the box seats and had a bunch of food and had some drinks, right? So this is an opportunity for GPSC to kind of get to know A board members or state legislatures or administration people informally. And there's probably enough here that everyone in this group can go. I would just encourage you to try to bring someone maybe outside of GPSC with you, other than the 24th, 25th I think it is. 24th, all the dates are available, so I'll just take them out. I'll leave them I'll probably give it back to you, Daniel. I'll leave them in the office. You get in touch with Daniel about the dates you might want to go. Since Daniel's gone, probably he gets last dibs at this point. But Jim, if you want to go at some point, take someone. Or Marie, if you want to go, take someone. Prez, obviously Jasmine and Jude. Anyway, so that's what these are, and I really didn't expect. When Daniel texted me half 20 or 10 minutes after I gave them to him, are these supposed to be season tickets? I'm like,
it's
no.
very strange.
So we got season tickets. I didn't know. So anyway, that's the football ticket thing. So then next item on the agenda is summer stipends. I guess this is supposed to be the executive session. Jennifer Sedler plus others I put at the time.
Did Jennifer?
So Jennifer, I sent the email out about the 20, was it Jennifer?
which
Oh,
is
just-
also,
Yeah.
is there any new
No,
information?
no, it was ice, it was ice.
I move to go into executive session.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, before we do that though, is there anything else we're gonna talk about that shouldn't be an executive session?
So Ashley already reported.
Yes.
Do Megan or Claudia, do you have anything you want to share? Any reports you want to give on what's going on? If you do, then we can do it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's just for in
Under-
regards.
It's 9.
I texted Chris. There hasn't been anything turned in for packets for elections.
Okay.
So just get the word out.
Okay.
Hopefully in the next 48 hours, folks will turn stuff in.
I
Which
usually
is
start mine anyway,
typical.
so.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
an
think
assistant
that-
you're hiring for that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So by the end of the week, we should have at least an offer out. So
Cool.
yeah.
Claudia?
And
anything?
just a reminder that early polling site will be open in ASHRAE offices starting Monday, October 17th. Early voting
Oh.
The real voting.
for real voting for the presidential election.
Actual
When,
Okay.
when again?
The 7th of October.
October 17th.
17th.
17th through Friday, November 4th, from 9 to 5. So,
In the conference room, is that where you're
uh-huh.
Yes.
So nice that ASUA does that.
ASHRAE conference room, yes, it will be turned over to the county. It's all theirs.
President. U.S. President.
And senators for the state of Arizona and anyone for the city, so, yeah.
Cool. Thank you for those reports. So I'll let Rhea finish up real quick out of it. Or you finished it?
Typed up to.
Okay. So Megan and
We got
Claudia
minutes all
said-
the way up to now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Jim, you had a motion to.
Yeah, move to go to executive session.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, executive session.